Good morning. It's Tuesday. It's 10 a.m. We're going to have coffee and conversations, or maybe you'll have your Bible and your beverage or your water and the Word. Have I come up with one for Diet Coke yet? I'm not sure. I can't remember. Good morning, Jill. It is the new year. Do you have a new you? It's like we think some magical thing's going to happen and change when the calendar changes over, and yet it never does. It just goes on and on. But it's an opportunity to consider change of course, change of direction. We're not going to talk about that today, though. We're going to be in Acts chapter 28, 11 to 16. Hopefully you have your beverages. I've got my coffee. If you picked up one of those Bible reading plans, you are on day 2, and hopefully you're not behind yet. I would love to know if you're doing it, if you're doing just the New Testament, or if you're doing the whole Bible, if you're doing the Old Testament and New Testament readings and the Psalm readings. I'll be honest with you, I read Genesis and Luke yesterday, and I did not hit the Psalms. So today's reading was a little bit shorter, so I read Psalm 1 this morning. I'm really liking it so far. I think it's going to be a great reading plan. If you are doing it, I would love to hear your thoughts and reflections. Share with me that you're reading, and then I can say, hey, what did you think about this? Or we can know that the other person is on the reading plan. I'm really excited about it. Good morning, Karen. Yeah. In addition to that, men's breakfast is on Saturday. So ladies, let your men know. Men, I hope you'll plan to come and join us. We're going to have bacon. Had a particular jovial gentleman on Saturday tell me that he was going to bring turkey bacon for us to have. And I said, you wash your mouth out, sir. No, I didn't really say that. But I told him that it's okay to call it turkey. And it's okay to have bacon, but don't call it turkey bacon, because that is misleading. It is false advertising, and it is not the same. So turkey bacon is actually not that bad if you're not expecting bacon. I mean, it's turkey, and turkey's good. Turkey's delicious. We have an entire day dedicated to eating turkey. All right. Anyhow, let's not digress any more than we need to. And then don't forget to sign up for the fellowship dinners. You can do it online through the Church Center app or the Church Center website that we have, or you can sign up in person on paper in the foyer. The one that we did back in, I think it was November, I don't remember. It was a while ago. Was great. I think it was November. We had dessert and we played Mexican Train and got to hear a little bit more about other people's stories and whatnot. So it's a great opportunity to get to know other people in the church body, and more than just, hey, I see you and I wave and I recognize you. So hope you'll plan to sign up for that. Turkey bacon is good, but we have not bought it again. See? Yeah, exactly. Turkey bacon, it's good, but why buy turkey bacon when you can have real bacon? Anyhow, I digress. So yeah, sign up for fellowship dinners and have a good time getting to know other people in the church body, in the congregation. So that way you can fellowship and build relationship beyond just hi, bye. So yeah, all right, let's jump into Acts. And this is, if you remember, where's my picture? There we go. If you remember, the Apostle Paul has the ship he was on heading to Rome was shipwrecked, and he and everyone on the ship were saved because of the Lord's miraculous work. They land on Malta, and while on Malta, Paul is gathering firewood, and a snake bites him in the hand, and they all assume he's going to die because they assume that justice, that karma, the god justice, is bringing retribution to Paul because he escaped the sea, and so the gods can't let this murderer live, and so they assume he's going to die, but he doesn't die, and he has the opportunity because of that to preach the gospel, and people on the island are won over to the Lord. And after a period of time, this is where we pick up. This is 3 months after the fact. So it says, after 3 months, we set sail. So again, there's that Luke language of Luke is with them, the missionary band. Paul is never doing missions work alone. Think about that. When you think about your Christian life, the Apostle Paul never went about things alone. I can't think of a single moment where he did anything alone. I mean, maybe when you're thinking him getting lowered out of the basket in Damascus so he doesn't get killed, maybe then, but I don't even think in that case. I mean, even when he's thrown in prison, there's someone with him. Silas comes to mind in Philippi. We see Paul is always in community as he's going about his missionary journeys. Now we call them Paul's missionary journeys, but it's not just Paul. It's Paul and his merry little band of merry little men. I don't know, his group of men who are individuals, because we don't. It's always masked men that are included, but there could have been women. I mean, we see him partner with Phoebe. We see him partner with Lydia in Philippi. We see the couple that taught Apollos, and my brain is not functioning right now. I need more coffee. Priscilla and Aquila. So we see men and women partnering with Paul in his journeys, and he doesn't just do this alone. And even Luke and others went with him on the journey from Jerusalem to Caesarea, and then from Caesarea to eventually making their way to Rome. So this is, when we think of the Christian life, we should not think of it as this individual thing we do. And hence why fellowship is important. You want to have other believers that are in your life that you can do life with and can encourage you, and you can encourage and can build you up, and you can build up, and they can weep with you when you weep, and they can rejoice with you when you rejoice. One person I heard put it this way. They said, for promoting small groups in their church, they said, who's your 3 a.m. friend? If something goes terribly wrong at 3 a.m., who are you calling? Is it someone from your church? Hopefully you have people within the body of believers at our church, if this is your church home, that you could call at any hour of the day, and they will be there for you. That's the goal. That's the desire. That's the ideal. And if not, we got to work towards that. And we want to build relationships. That's why we do things like fellowship dinners and have other events, and why we have branch groups, and why we have women's mentoring and those types of things, and men's Bible study and men's breakfast. Those things are all meant to foster the relationships that we can have together, so we can fellowship with one another and seek to encourage one another. So they got on a ship, in a ship that had wintered in the island, a ship of Alexandria, with the twin gods as a figurehead. So this is a reference to, historically, these ships would have figureheads on the front. You all know what that looks like. If you've seen an old ancient boat, you've seen old ships, they would put a figurehead on the front. And these figureheads were the twin gods of Zeus, the sons of Zeus. And I can't remember their names right now. And they were known as being like the patrons, the gods who looked after sailors. And so it would not have been uncommon to find a ship with that on it. And they put in at Syracuse. And we stayed there for 3 days. And from there, we made a circuit and arrived at Rhegium. And after one day, a south wind sprang up. And on the second day, we came to Puteoli. So they finally, they start in, they're on Malta. They go from Malta to Syracuse. And then they go from Syracuse to Rhegium. I I've listened to it like 5 times on how to say it, and I butchered it there. Rhegium, and then in Rhegium, the wind starts to blow in a proper way that they can set sail again, and they set sail from the island of Sicily, Sicilia, Sicily, yeah. They sail from there, which is where Syracuse is, and Rhegium, and from there they then sail to Puteoli, which is on Italy proper. And so they go from there. This is actually, if we're calculating the time correctly, 3 months. It's probably some point in February, and that's pretty early to start setting sail. There still could be troubles of weather and whatnot, but they decide to do it, and they go. And when they arrive, we found brothers and were invited to stay with them for 7 days. So they find other Christians. When they move into the town, when they get there, they look for other believers, because again, we want to be in community with other people. And when we go to a place that we're not familiar with on our journey, we want to meet and gather with other believers. That's why it's a fascinating thing to think about. When you go on vacation, do you go to church somewhere else? Do you intentionally include that? It's always so interesting when Amber's grandma would go on vacations and trips, and she would go to some place. She would always bring me back the bulletins from other churches, just so I could see what they're doing, and she would tell me about their church services and whatnot. And I think it's a fascinating thing. And I think in the more modern world, we don't tend to do that as much, like present time, but it's still worthwhile practice to go and see other believers and worship with them and fellowship with them in the midst of it. So they land in Italy, and they start making their way to Rome, and they find Christians, which is interesting. This is Paul. This is like 60-ish AD probably, and there are Christians. They can find Christians in Italy in more than just Rome. Like, the gospel is spreading, and this is an indication of that. That as they're like a few hundred miles from Rome, there are believers in this place. And they found them, and they were invited to stay with them for 7 days. They want a fellowship. I mean, can you imagine? Paul had written to Rome at this point a few years earlier, and he had told them, hey, I'm coming. And it's undoubted that people would have, someone would have heard about the Apostle Paul. He would have been known to the churches, that you get the Apostle Paul's in town. I want to spend time with him. One of the apostles is here. Oh my goodness, what a joy that would have been to be able to welcome in one of the apostles and the missionary journey, the missionary band that had been formed and had taken the gospel to so many places over the years. They don't have the ability to transmit information like we do, but it would have gone before him, and they would have interacted, and they would have heard what he had done and the various things through the individuals and ministries that are there. And the people in Rome would have known about Paul, because some of them he mentions by name. There are people in Rome that know Paul by name, and he knows by name. And the brothers there. So we came to Rome, and so they're in like the vicinity of Rome. And the brothers there, when they heard about us, came as far as the Forum of Appius, which is that's like 40 miles from Rome. And then Three Taverns is like 12 miles from Rome. And on seeing them, Paul thanked God and took courage. You think Paul would need courage in what's coming before him? But he is certain that the Lord is with him. He has never wavered in that, and he understands that the Lord will be with him until the Lord is never going to leave him. But the Lord is going to prevail in his circumstances, in protecting Paul and caring for Paul. Paul can trust the Lord. I'm listening to a book called The Lord of Psalm 23 right now by David Gibson. And it is a fantastic exposition of Psalm 23. And he points out how in Psalm 23, the Lord is our shepherd. I shall not want. I have what I need. And what does the Lord do in the deep valley? Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The shepherd is leading the sheep through the dark valley, through the deep darkness. The Christian life is not always hunky-dory, but we know that the Lord is with us. And Paul is steadfast in that. And he thanked God and he took courage by his fellowship with other believers and a reminder to each other that God is good and God will see him through to the end, even if it doesn't result in the outcome that Paul might want. What a important thing to remember is that no matter what we face, think of all the things Paul faced. No matter what we face, the Lord is with us in the midst of all of it, and we can take courage. That doesn't mean we're going to not experience terrible things, but we can take courage that the Lord is with us even in the midst of it all. And when we came to Rome, Paul was allowed to stay by himself with a soldier who guarded him. It's interesting. You think he is able to, like, he's under house arrest and there's just one soldier. There's a recognition that Paul is not really a threat to the order, the society. He's not the terrible riot creator that he's been accused of being. God is showing him favor. So Paul has freedom while he's in Rome to minister to people because he's not like thrown in the deep, dark jail cell in the bottom of the worst possible place. He's under house arrest in Rome, and he can minister while doing that. So, friends, I hope this last little leg of the journey is a good reminder to you. And that's interesting. I didn't used to be able to go over lines. That's cool. Oh, sorry. Where is my eraser? There we go. Eraser. That God's with us, and we can trust him, and we can take courage no matter what we face, knowing that God is with us. We can thank God regardless of our circumstances and praise him, knowing that he is with us and he is our shepherd. And because of that, we have what we need. Friends, do you thank God for what you have? I hope this journey for Paul, this last leg of the journey, encourages you to remember those things, that he will never leave you nor forsake you. He is with you always, even to the end of the age. So, friends, no matter what comes your way this week, may you trust and rest in him and be faithful to him in the midst of it. And if you need anything, you let us know. We'd love to make sure you are supported in the midst of it. I would love to hear if you're reading that Bible plan with me. I think it'd be great to hear how the Lord is using it to impact your life. Okay, I'm signing out. Ladies, we'll see you Sunday. Men, see you Friday, or not Friday, Saturday. Men's breakfast is on Saturday. Okay, signing off.